Good morning. As principal of the Mona Campus of the University of the West Indies, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the official press launch of the 2016 UWI Mona Research Days. Every year we open our gates to the public in order to allow our distinguished community of researchers, lecturers, and scholars to showcase the exemplary work they are currently undertaking and their intentions of applying them to facilitate the further development of Jamaica. This year's theme, UWI Mona, Driving Development Through Innovation and Research, highlights the critical focus the UWI has taken to spearheading effective change and improving the developmental prospects of our country and the Caribbean region. Here at the university, we believe that the work being carried out by our community of researchers and scholars will help to redefine the manner in which Jamaica approaches internal and external challenges to growth, as well as reshaping our views on critical issues that affect our society. As I stated in my inaugural speech, those of you who were there, or those of you who read it in the press, as I stated, the University of the West Indies must take responsibility for the slow growth of the economies across the Caribbean and must contribute more to national and regional development. As you will see from the activities of this year's Research Days, as you would have seen, those of you who read a little bit more than the headlines on your smartphones, those of you who take time to read a little bit more and go a little bit behind the stories would have seen that we are doing exactly that. The University of the West Indies, the Mona Campus of the University of the West Indies, is playing a more dynamic role in contributing to Jamaica's growth. And we have started to see the Jamaican economy turn around. There is absolutely no doubt. If to the simplest of minds, the economy is turning, and the UWI Mona has played its part. As a diverse learning and research institution, one of our many successes has been our ability to positively impact views on societal concerns. One such success is the re-education, if you will, of the Jamaican society on the benefits of cannabis. And no surprise to you that at this press launch, I would speak about something which is very dear to my heart. And as we speak, there is a conference taking place about investors in this new industry. And because I'm here, I'm not there. And therefore, it should be no surprise to you that I have to say a little bit about cannabis. As a higher learning institution, we are fully aware of the long-standing and somewhat entrenched cultural and social responses to this plant. For many decades, its usage amongst our community has been stigmatized, with many viewing it as a gateway drug to more abusive and destructive substances. Yet some of us knew differently. Thanks to the tireless work of the UWI's exemplary research scientists, we have been able to create a new story for cannabis, not as a gateway drug, but as a gateway substance to national development and economic growth. Our research seeks to highlight the many medicinal and scientific uses of this plant that can not only cure and treat many diseases and illnesses impacting our society, but also lead to a thriving research and development industry that will pull much needed foreign investment into our country. Due to the groundbreaking work of exceptional scientists, we have proven that the benefits for continued development that cannabis provides to our country far outweighs the negative and incorrect depiction that this drug has endured. More importantly, we are trying to establish a viable and profitable industry that will secure Jamaica's financial future. Like many of our global partners, UWI researchers have recognized there is wealth in producing cannabis for medicinal and scientific purposes. From patent production to establishing a strong R&D industry, Jamaica is poised to make significant financial gains from a plant that has become synonymous with Jamaican culture and identity. Let me make it quite clear that cannabis is not a magic wand. Certainly is not, but it is beyond doubt that this plant has tremendous medicinal properties, and that is what we are seeking to bring to the fore. That is what researchers all over the world, including the United States, are trying to bring to the fore. The United States, the federal government of the United States is now the largest ganja farmer in the world, and their largest farm is in Kentucky, let me tell you. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do, to bring the benefits of cannabis to the fore. I am by no means saying it is going to magically solve all the problems of Jamaica or cure every disease. It is not going to do that. Let me be emphatic. In keeping with our ethos of research and innovation, our work in shaping the utility of cannabis as one of the many developmental tools has allowed us to set new parameters for sustainability and growth for our country. These research days are staged in the same spirit that motivated our researchers to look beyond the negative characterization of cannabis. It provides us with an opportunity to show the public the benefits of thinking outside the box, the benefits of viewing innovation as a tool to growth, and the need to find our own solution to problems impacting our society. It also provides an opportunity for Jamaican educators to use a plant which is culturally, it's a part of our culture, it's a part of Jamaican culture. So it's an opportunity for our educators, especially our science teachers, to use this to teach science in our schools. Science is being taught as an abstract subject, and that is why our students struggle so much. When you tell a student about chemistry, they don't know the practical implication of chemistry. You're teaching that it is foreign to them. It is being taught in abstraction, and that is not how it should be taught. It should be taught by showing them examples, what is soap and how soap works. Here is one of the greatest chemists in the Caribbean, so he knows what I'm talking about. And what they ought to do is to use this wonderful plant, which every Jamaican, real Jamaican children know about. Real Jamaican children. right? Know about cannabis. And you can use it to teach science in schools. I've been begging them, but they have not taken up the charge. But as we view the 100 events being staged in this year's UWI Mona Research Days, a common theme of a development-driven institution committed to innovation will come to the fore and will prove to the Jamaican community that the UWI is investing in our future as a nation, and that our influence and role in society goes far beyond education, but rather also includes supporting and facilitating national growth. From a national institutional perspective, the work being carried out within these walls also focuses on building national identity and rewriting the cultural and historical narrative of our past, and possibly our future. We have also taken an active approach to helping to create policy for Jamaica and the region that will lead to better and more influential governance for the benefit of our society. Of critical focus to our researchers is being able to contribute to the creation of education policy and curriculum development that will help to build a society that is more in tune with global demands in education, business, health, and other developmental issues. For example, Mona researchers have worked tirelessly in creating a more robust and diverse education system that speaks to the needs of the 21st century student. Through our work, we have contributed to curriculum development and education policy change at the national and regional level. The resulting impact of this investment has led to the development of the early childhood education policy, the development of the Caribbean history curriculum and examination boards, and the development of the CXC examinations. Our work in helping to define and influence policies related to the Aspiring School Principals Program, technical vocational education and training, the innovative behavior change program rolled out in Jamaican schools, and the regionally implemented primary level assessment of literacies have made significant impact on education for Jamaica and the Caribbean region. Our interest in building the education infrastructure of our nation highlights the diverse and robust nature of research being carried out at the UWI, as well as our large scope of influence within the society. I urge you to please take some time to view our contribution to national policies on our now very successful policy wall. And this year, I think last year was the first year when we started the policy wall, and this year we feature education and curriculum development. So please take time to view our policy wall. This year's University Research Days will highlight these achievements and the many parts of development we plan on embarking on to solidify our future as a nation. As I am indeed proud to launch this year's exposition, and even prouder to commend the work that will be on display, I invite the public to join us for these 3 days showcasing research excellence at the University of the West Indies. They will have the opportunity to get a bird's-eye view of all the important research being carried out, discuss the work with our researchers, and engage in stimulating knowledge exchange with others with similar interest. It is our hope that these discussions will not just take place over these 3 days, but that you, our partners, will continue the discussion with our researchers and with the wider UWI community throughout the year and beyond. Thank you all for joining us this morning, and I look forward to yet another successful staging of UWI Mona Research Days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Principal, for not only launching the activities, the 3 days of activities, but also introducing our audience here to the wide-ranging set of activities led, of course, by the marijuana research, the medical marijuana research, which, as you will soon hear, will be threaded throughout the exhibition and for various activities. We also have, just as Principal talked about the research, you have some of the posters from last year, but we also have, just to titillate your interest, 3 of the important pieces that will be seen, ranging from a robot to what will happen if you smoke too much and batter your chest too much. But that's not my job. The job of introducing the overview of Research Day falls to Dr. Georgiana Gordon-Strawn, the Director of the Mona Office of Research and Innovation, and I'll now invite her to do so.
40 activities planned for you this year. Next slide, please. Just as an overview, as you know, UWI Research Days is an annual event, and it is our flagship program where we showcase the research that we do throughout the years. This year we have 3 days of exhibition. We start on Wednesday, February 17, and we go on until Friday, February 19. As I said before, we have over 140 events and activities, and these are spread over the 3 days. And this year we've introduced a new concept. This year, instead of having an exhibition tent only, we're going to be having a research village. So come and join us and have a look at our research village. Next slide. Our theme for this year is driving development through research and innovation. And under this theme, we will showcase research resulting in new products, new policies, and practices. And we will also be highlighting Mona's role in providing solutions to the problems of today's society. But also, ladies and gentlemen, aside from our overall theme, we actually have 6 sub-themes. And I'm going to go through them very, very quickly for you. I'm just going to mention a few of them. The first is research and innovation in law, governance, and society. And under this, we will look at things like the ethics and the application of law. Under research and innovation in pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, and well-being, Professor MacDonald spoke eloquently about our marijuana research before, but we will also be looking at some of our commonly used medicinal plants, and we will be looking to see what innovations we have under pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, and I think there are a few products which may be on display as well. Under research and innovation, supporting industries, institutions, and infrastructure, we will present technology breakthroughs which support business, industry, and government. And actually for government, we have an interactive display where you can pretend to be the Minister of Finance for a day. So, if you increase salaries for public sector workers, this model will show you what those repercussions will be. And I think if we try that, we might get a taste of how difficult it must be to be a Minister of Finance. We will also be doing research and innovation in developing human resources, and Professor MacDonald spoke to that earlier, and this will focus primarily on capacity development and career development. Our 5th sub-theme, research and innovation for tertiary industries, will have a look at our creative and cultural industries and the tourism sector and how UWI's research has impacted these industries. We will also have, as another sub-theme, our final sub-theme, research and innovation for primary industries. And in this, we will showcase our work in agriculture, in coastal restoration, in mining, and in agro-processing. So our format is similar to what we had last year. We have several signature events. We have our key research publication, which is an annual publication that is chronicled in Research Days, and it's called the Research for Development publication. And it actually chronicles our most important research over the last year, so we encourage you to have a look at it. We also have a comprehensive program of activities across the faculties. There are workshops, book launches, public lectures, panel discussions, and many, many more. We start with our opening ceremony on Wednesday, February 17th, and we're very fortunate to have our own homegrown Professor Dale Weber, Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Graduate Studies, as a guest speaker. Later on in the evening at about 5:30 p.m., we will have our public lecture, and the topic is medical marijuana and its role in child care. I think I saw Dr. Garbett earlier. And its role in clinical healthcare and research. Our guest speakers for that will be Josh Stanley and his colleagues, and they are from a company called Sativa. Sativa's primary objective is to discover and to generate clinical research from marijuana and to develop medicinal products from these clinical research activities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the medical marijuana industry is an emerging multi-billion-dollar industry, and there are several opportunities for Jamaica. So I'm encouraging you to come and be a part of this public lecture. Let's see if we can eke out our own opportunities for our country and for ourselves. On Wednesday, February 17th, we have a book launch. The title, Pathways to Action, Social Policy in the Caribbean. This book is edited by Dr. Audrey Henry Lee, and we're particularly proud of this book because several of the chapters came from last year's policy wall, and it was an expansion of what we did for last year's policy wall. The guest speaker, we're happy to say, will be Mr. Colin Bullock, who is the Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. We're extremely proud of our students, ladies and gentlemen, and we're very happy that this year the Intercampus Postgraduate Debate Finals will happen here at Mona on the 17th and 18th of February. Come and watch our students engage in the fine art of debating. We'll have students from the Mona Campus, the Cave Hill Campus, the St. Augustine Campus, and the Open Campus, and they will be debating such topics as the importance of research and development to Caribbean advancement. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever experienced a war of words? If you haven't, then you need to join us at our Poetry Clash 2016, and this is being done by the Faculty of Humanities and will be held in their courtyard. See who will be crowned King or Queen of the Poetry Clash 2016. Our social scientists have been thinking a lot about the Caribbean and its future, and will present at the Derrick Gordon Research Seminar the topic, Rethinking Caribbean Futures, Perspectives from Social Scientists. We're lucky to have with us this year for that event Dr. Anna Ford Smith, who is a researcher and assistant professor from York University in Toronto. Our group from Science and Technology will be looking at the business of personal care products, and we have a local industry called Irie Rock Limited, and the CEO, Raquel Brown, will present to us what is needed to develop a business in personal care products. Also, I'd like to mention, it's not on the slide, but the Faculty of Science and Technology will also have a public lecture, and the title of that public lecture will be Vision 2013, the role of science in accomplishing this vision. Each year, the Cobb Family Foundation sponsors a lecture, a public lecture, and it's a joint event between the American Friends of Jamaica and the Cobb Family Foundation. This year, we will be talking about climate change and global warming. Our guest speaker is Professor Michael Taylor, And the title of his presentation is 2 Degrees. Is it too much? Is it too little, or are we too late? And this debate came out of the International Climate Change Conference, which was held in Paris in 2015, where the world decided that they would try to reduce and contain global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. And that is an international event, commitment. I think Jamaica is a signatory to that commitment. The Mona School of Business and Management will have a panel discussion on the export market and preparing for the export market. So if you're interested in joining us and in exporting your product, come and listen to our main presenters. We have a distinguished list of presenters here. Dr. Andre Gordon from Technology Solutions Limited, Mrs. Sandra Glasgow, Jamaica Exporters Association, Professor Luann Barkley from Mona School of Business, and Dr. Tululup Biwashi from the Mona School of Business. Professor MacDonald spoke about our policy wall this year, and as he said, we will be showcasing UWI Mona's role in the development of education policies in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. I don't think I need to say much more on this because I think Professor MacDonald covered it very well. Okay, so I have a little challenge for you. Can you read the first 2 slides of my first bullet? Can you? You can? If you can, congratulations. You can read at least 2 words in the Jamaican language. It's broadcast Jamaican, and I hope I said it right. Our Faculty of Humanities and Education will be launching their mobile app, and the title of the mobile app is Broadcast Jamaican. This will be on February 18 at 10 to 2. And it's going to be a fun event because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be giving you a script written in the Jamaican language, and you are going to read the script, they're going to videotape you, and then they're going to play it back. So you know it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So join us for that. Again, we're very proud of our students. And our information technology students this year stepped up to the plate and developed a mobile app for UWI Research Days 2016. It will be on display in one of the 2 tents over there, and before you leave, I would encourage you to have it loaded on your mobile phones and your tablets so that at any given moment, you will know where to go, what is happening, and how to get there. Again, we're very proud of our students. This year, we also have a robot. It will be on display again on in the tent just over here. It was designed by our engineering students, and its main objective is to show a demonstration of how a logistics operation in a transshipment and distribution center would work using a robot. This year, we're lucky to have with us Dee Burns, and at 3 p.m. on Thursday, February 18, we will have a tour of the Research Days tent with this celebrity. Okay, all right, so you're not hearing what Dottie Berry's up here saying, but he's saying, oh, jeez, Okay. Now, unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. And on Friday, February 19, we will close Research Days at 3 p.m. with a celebrity tent tour with none other than Dottie Berry. We've chosen a comedian so that, we can laugh at ourselves and we can see the fun and hilarious side of our very serious scientific work. So thank you, Dottie Berry, for agreeing to this. The ultimate event of Research Days is actually the Principal's Research Days Awards, and this will be held on February 19 at 6 p.m. at the Mona Visitors Lodge. It is the ultimate event because it is where the principal recognizes the outstanding work of our researchers. So, ladies and gentlemen, come join us as we explore tomorrow's solutions today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gordon Strawn. As you can see, between the principal and Dr. Gordon Strawn, they have given you a mere snippet of what to expect. So if you really want to experience the UWI world and its contribution, and you can see that the contribution is really quite wide. As Principal said, contributing not only to development and innovation, but also to every walk of life. Allow me, however, to be the coordinator of grad studies for one moment, and Eleanor knows I'm about to say the grad students have won that trophy 2 years. This is their 3rd year. We are the defending champions. So we are very proud of our students. And also what you have heard as Principal and Dr. Strawn have introduced you to Research Day is that it's all our students as well as our academics. It's our undergrads, it's our postgrads, and it's our academics, that everybody is involved in these activities. Our guest speaker was chosen very, very carefully, Mr. Wedderburn. No, we're quite happy that you represent the ministry. Maybe I should say the ministry rather than the individual was chosen very, very carefully, and I am sure that Principal set the tone when he spoke about the economy and he spoke of the importance of UWI to development. The policy wall speaks to that in particular this year with education, which will show us contributing from the 60s right up, including some of the textbooks. And you will see, for example, that our research is not just for Research Day, because those of you who were with us last year will remember that our accent was on climate change. We had our tools. You will see that it's back this year again through a public lecture. And therefore, all of what you're seeing is not one-off. You will see it again in the tent, even the ones from last year, you will see advances. So we're also getting out the message that we're in this for the long haul and that we have several generations of academics and students to pass down the work to do. And I will invite you now, Mr. Wedderburn, representing the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, to speak to us. Someone needs to come and elevate these.
It's going around doing what they do, and it gives you hope that, you know, there is a future for Jamaica. So let me say, I'm very happy to be here and happy to share in this morning's event. And a university distinguishes itself from other institutions by the degree of dedication that it places on research and the building of a research culture. It is this role as a center for research that enables the UWI to provide leadership to the society in broad areas of human endeavors. And while many aspects of Jamaican life appears to be characterized by lack of structure, definition, and by spontaneity, we cannot make any significant progress until we establish a very disciplined approach to our engagement in research. For the government, our policies and decision-making should be guided by data-driven and evidence-based principles. Importantly, as we seek to create an environment to strengthen existing industries and to support the development of new ones, we must be guided by facts and data. That is why in the government we place such a high value on research when we put together and are developing strategic policy frameworks to guide our national development efforts. For example, we are committed to export-led growth because our research tells us that our domestic market cannot support growth on the scale required to generate jobs and bring economic prosperity to our people. But we also understand that to drive exports, we must be globally competitive. This is especially so in today's global economy, where tariff barriers have fallen apart and new challenges in trade access have emerged in the form of technical barriers to trade, the so-called non-tariff barriers. So although, you know, there's less tariffs to deal with in international trade, we have more non-tariff barriers. For this reason, a new national quality policy is being developed, which And as we increase our efforts in creating a modern national quality infrastructure, this will be critical in helping to guide our export growth and sustainable development for Jamaica. And, you know, we are developing a system where we want Jamaican industries to be standardized and, you know, that we will have a quality infrastructure, the institutions that support quality, the accreditation bodies, the certification bodies, the testing bodies, so that when Jamaican products are tested in Jamaica, you know, and they are exported, the importing country will be happy to accept that these products are of good quality because they have been certified in Jamaica. So that's where we are going to. You know, we have made significant strides in that area. Currently, if you're an exporter, tests his goods in a lab credited by JANAC, the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation. That exporter has access to 69 countries where, you know, once the goods go to any of these 69 countries, they will not ask for further tests of the goods because they accept that JANAC is an accredited body and is recognized internationally. So, you know, that's where we are going on the quality infrastructure side. As we transition to the knowledge-driven economy, our future will depend on the extent of our research and development efforts. In this regard, investments in R&D are fundamental to developing new products and services that drive growth, create jobs, and improve the national welfare. Indeed, any serious examination of the pattern of economic growth and the development of industry across the globe will reveal the role and importance of research and development to the successes achieved in various countries. And while we are not able to compete with the sheer volume of global R&D spending, we must maximize outcomes of our own R&D investments, even with the limited resources available to us. So how we organize research to achieve critical mass and scale is very important in this environment where resources are scarce. As Dr. Gordon-Strawn pointed out, you have a number of thematic areas for this year's Research Day: law, governance, and society, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, and well-being, supporting industries, institutions, and infrastructure, developing human resources, tertiary industries, and primary industries. Now, as Professor Elimai Shira said, I think you chose the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce very carefully because all of these areas are very relevant to what we do. And so we are therefore very interested in seeing the outcome of the upcoming Research Day. And, you know, we appreciate that all the areas being focused on for this Research Day are critical in the development and renewal of our economy and the development of new industries here in Jamaica. The government will continue to create the policies that stimulate R&D activity in the private sector. We recognize that individual firms are often unable to harness all the benefits of innovation and as such are underinvested in R&D, and this is where we think the universities, UWI, and other universities are critical in, you know, many of our firms cannot undertake R&D for themselves, so they depend on academia to support these efforts and to enable the development of our country. We, the government, will find various ways to support and spur on research, and therefore things such as the research and experimentation tax credit, well, that is an example of the tools necessary to encourage R&D investment. And we think more should be done to support innovation by aligning our relevant policies to education and intellectual property, as well as the development of commercialization centers. Increasingly, the new industries we have in Jamaica will be more research intensive, hence we must create the policies that will foster research and innovation. One of the industry areas we are focusing on is the creative industries, and we are engaged in putting together the policies and collaborative framework to improve the opportunities for our creatives as they seek to commercialize their products and ideas. And in line with this, the modernization of our intellectual property protection regime is a priority on the ministry's legislative agenda. This includes the strengthening of our patent regime and implementing legislation to enable Jamaica's accession to the Madrid Protocol. Recently, Jamaica became the first English-speaking Caribbean country to be accredited with a geographical indicator, or GI, and this was for Jamaican jerk. So with that GI designation, you know, people around the world can't seek to latch on to Jamaica's name as they try to, you know, make false jerk products, you know. So this is the first, and first in the Caribbean. And it won't be the last, because we are coming, you know, with a few others, you know, Blue Mountain Coffee and others we intend to get similar GIs for. And I congratulate the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office for the work they have been doing in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, transforming our economy also means taking steps to strengthen nascent industries and encouraging the development of new ones. This is important as we seek to diversify our economy, accelerate growth, and broaden economic inclusiveness. One of the areas we are looking at in the ministry is developing a bamboo industry, you know, to an industry around bamboo, and we are currently in the process of developing a policy to support the bamboo industry. And again, I must say that there is collaboration with the UWI in that effort, and we do appreciate that. An outsourcing strategy is being implemented even now to guide our investment facilitation in the outsourcing sector, while a newly rolled out national export strategy has been developed to support our export promotion efforts. In addition, and coming, you know, Professor McDonald put a lot of emphasis on cannabis. And, you know, we are putting in place a legislative regime to support the development of the local cannabis industry. And in this respect, we have made the necessary initial amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act. We have established a cannabis licensing authority, which falls under the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, to govern industrial hemp, cannabis, and medical marijuana. And indeed, Jamaica is remarkably well placed to take advantage of the emerging market in this area. And we are working hard to put in place the necessary standards and systems to enable proper regulation of the industry. And the Cannabis Licensing Authority is specifically mandated to ensure that regulations do not contravene international obligations or regulate the industry out of existence. On the contrary, these regulations should enable the industry to grow and to be driven by market forces. And the regulations that we are talking about by the Cannabis Licensing Authority, we expect to be enacted in fairly short order. We are hoping that by April, you know, these regulations will be fully effective, and then, you know, it will be full speed ahead to developing the cannabis industry. At that point, you know, people will now be able to actually develop their cannabis-based businesses. And, you know, we in the ministry, you know, a lot of people, you think of cannabis, you think of smoking. You know, we think that is a very low value use, you know, to grow cannabis to smoke. And so that's not what we are focusing on. We are focusing on the nutraceutical components, and we are basically want to establish a modern research-based industry on the, you know, on the basis of cannabis. And I'm happy to see that the UWI is similarly pushing in that direction. In the final analysis, ladies and gentlemen, the successes of our policies and programs will depend on the degree to which they are embraced by the public and stakeholders. In this regard, we are leveraging our capabilities to deploy a variety of communication modes to educate and sensitize the public on the ministry's role in advancing our society towards a new direction, which is critical to transforming the industry landscape in our country. We are more confident than ever that we are on the right track to transform the Jamaican economy and to make Jamaica a more prosperous place for our people. As we move forward, the university must continue to demonstrate its own relevance to its stakeholders and to the broader society that supports it. Research and innovation must be directed towards the discovery and implementation of solutions to improve the way we do things. The integration of industry and academia through strategic research and innovation partnerships is vital not only to the university, but also to the future of our nation. We at the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce certainly appreciate and endorse the work being done at UWI, and we welcome and support the launch of UWI Mona Research Days 2016. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wedderburn. I don't know what discussions you and the principal had, since I don't think he knew it was you coming until this morning, but your speeches and your talks to our launch were almost written to coincide. And since the principal does not get the chance to come back up here, let me, on behalf of the Research Day, commit him and the university, and he's here, so he can say no if he wants to the challenge that you gave us to ensure that our research is relevant. I hear that from Professor MacDonald at every meeting, and we would like to think that what we have on display is in fact relevant and showing increasing relevance. Are there any questions? I didn't think so. So before I invite you to just look at what we have that we think is relevant, and you know, you have Dr. Gallimore over there and her student, just to emphasize relevance. Breast cancer, as we all know, is something that is a challenge to many people and a leading cause of death. And so we have research going on that is, you're going to see, and just a very small example of the sort of research being done, particularly in science and technology, in association with other institutions. She is, the two of them, because there's a student involved, is looking at a marine algae, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name, so you all have to go and ask Dr. Gallimore the name of it, because it's even worse than trying to do the Jamaican one, Georgiana, so I won't do it. But it's about identifying medicinal plants that we have here locally that have chemotherapy properties. So that's just one example. I already mentioned Dr. Stewart, who, you know, is another example, audience, of our very pivotal international role. Thank you all for coming, and I don't need to tell you that, and you know, we need to get the word out into the highways and byways that UWI is relevant.
It's not the entire course. The rules are just one aspect of it. There's also a
Sometimes you feel like a math, but then your other we've taped the principal's message.
them cutaways or two.